Smart 24, driving business.
Yes, welcome to Farm Smart Show. You know, whenever I visit a farm, it's my joy because I know every time I visit a farm, I'm going to get to learn something new. I'm going to meet new people. We are going to get to learn something different from whatever we have been seeing. Welcome to Farm Smart Show with me, Chris Chitaka. I'm your host. Every Friday we are here to bring you new exciting ideas, exciting tips on how best you can grow crops, on how best you can rear animals. And this time around we have come back to ITUNGO pastures and you're going to be looking at cattle farming, dairy farming. But first of all, we're going to start from pasture. We covered a bit of it last time and we're going to learn more from it. Nice to meet you, madam.
Nice to meet you too, Chris.
Yes, kind of.
Yeah, okay, you're most welcome. My name is Jolly. I'm a co-director, stroke manager of ITUNGO pastures here. ITUNGO pastures is located in Wakiso town, that is along Hoima Road, 19 kilometers from Kampala town. We are located in a village called Choga. And as you have heard, ITUNGO pastures, we are doing pastures. Yeah, we do pasture production, pasture establishment. We do sell pasture seeds and seedlings. We teach people pasture preservation. We do have pasture silage cutting machines. Everything farmers they need to do in dairy farming.
Yes.
We do have it here.
Okay.
ITUNGO pastures.
I have been inspired because there is some great change. From the last time we came here, you didn't have this structure, but now I can see you put up something new. Yes, last time we talked about pasture.
Yes, please.
And Mr. Businje explained how we grow our pasture, how we make silage and hay. So now we have seen some process here that has just happened here. We have seen some new machine. Talk about it, please.
Okay, thank you, Chris. This machine here, it is called the silage chopping machine. And when we do chop silage, usually it's one way of how we can do pasture preservation. From chopping the pastures here, you can either take and feed direct to your cows, or you do what we call silage making. As you have seen, we have chopped our pastures here. This is Bracharia mulatto and the Chloris Guyana hay. We have done the mixture. And right away from here, we are going to mix later on, then we feed our dairy cows.
Before you take us inside to show us how you mix,
Yes,
do you only have to put only 2 types, or you can mix so many types as your...
It's not a matter of making many types. Usually when we are feeding dairy cows, we do mixture. All these pastures you see here also, they are categorized in 2, 3. We've got pastures for making silage. Then we also have pastures that make hay. As you have seen, this is the Chloris Guyana hay. When I talk of hay, I simply mean the dry grass. Then we also have pastures for making silage. And so we are going to mix these 3 categories, as you're going to see later on and as I'm going to be explaining. Yes.
All right, as you've heard, right now we are going inside to mix our
feeds.
We are going to mix our feeds for animals.
So, Chris,
yes,
as you have seen, as an organized farm, we have an office. I hope you have seen it there. Yeah. This is our working area, stroke a training center. We also do trainings. And right here, we are going to mix our feeds. These are some of the pasture varieties. Not all of them. These are the ones that we have been chopping. I'm going to do the mixing and then we feed our cows, as you're going to see. So here, this is now our silage. I told you after chopping those grass, You can either do silage. Silage is here. It is one of the ways of preserving pastures. It really has a very good aroma. Even you may feel like you want to eat.
You want to taste, eh?
Yeah, okay. This is very good. The way you're seeing it here, it can be kept for a long period of time. Okay. Yeah. So,
what do we need to know first before you mix?
Of course, before you do the mixing, you're supposed to plant pastures and you must be having grass. Then after planting them, we have harvested. What you have to have in mind, you don't just mix, no. These animals you see here, they are also like human beings and they need to have a balanced diet. Right. Yeah, and right here we've got our proteins, we've got our carbohydrates, energy, and everything. You don't just mix, that's why you can see we have different types here. Talking
about some like hygiene, eh? Do we have to lay them on ground or you have to put them on something? Like if you don't have this kind of floor?
If you don't have this kind of floor, you can sweep your wherever. If you have your clean ground, you can put there, or you look for the tarpaulin. Then you do your mixture from there. Okay. Yes.
How you can show us how you mix. So, as is mixing, what if I don't have this kind of feeds? What else can I feed my cows?
Sincerely speaking, when you want to do farming, there is no shortcut, by the way. Okay. I have told you that here we do trainings. So some of the things, before you do anything, as in stocking the animals, you're supposed to, if I'm to tell you one of the requirements that you should have, okay, I would say number one, you should have feeding, you should have feeds, number two, feeds, number three, feeds. It's very, very important.
Feeds.
Yes.
Okay.
There is nothing like, what if I don't have this? No. You're supposed to do it if you're to do a successful dairy farming. Because I told you, these animals, they need proteins, they need carbohydrates, and they need energy. Okay. Yes. All right. So you're supposed to have them. There is no shortcut.
So now, talking about these feeds, how many times are you supposed to feed these animals in a day, or?
These animals, if you're feeding this type of feeds that we are giving, it's a very good one and it is rich in all the protein nutrients, yes, that animals should have. These animals, they don't eat a lot. As you can see, a day, per cow here, it eats between 20 to 25 kilograms. That is a mixture of this, but I know there are some farmers outside there who are still feeding on fresh grass. Fresh grass is not poisonous. Animals, they do eat it. But when you're feeding on fresh grass, just get to know that the animals will eat non-stop. It will eat and then it fills up the stomach. Then it gives the cow dung, and again where it has stopped, it comes back and eat almost for the whole day. And usually that is feeding. When the time's eating, you know you're not feeding good feeds. Yes. It is supposed to eat just like a very small portion. Then after eating, as you can see here, it's drinking water. It takes water, and then after it is supposed to go in their resting areas and they rest.
Yes, before we get there to resting and taking water, yes, let me first take you back. Eh? Yes. Let's first talk about the structure of our animals, because it is also so important. Yes.
So as you can see, usually the formula of the structure, it is actually like this. There is a standing area where the cows should stand. Then there is a feeding area. Then there is where you're supposed to have the water troughs and also the resting area. As you can see, whether you want to use asbestos, whether you want to do the tilings and everything, but the formula is always 1. Yes.
What about the ventilation, air circulation, all kind of stuff?
Actually, the area where the cows should be, it should be very well aerated, as you can see ours here.
Out of reach of rain. Yeah.
Actually, animals, they can even, rain has no problem. But the problem, why we are saying very well aerated, they should get the heat stress. Yeah.
Okay, so now you have explained to us about the structure,
Yes,
how to design it, ventilation, everything. Yes. So now tell us, what do we need to put in this structure? We have seen the water space and then the feeding space, so how do you...
You can see right here, this is our water trough. You can see it has a transparent iron sheet. These animals, they don't need to take very cold water. When you put the very cold water, you will see them not taking water. And we all very well know that 80% of milk is composed of water. Yeah, so when the cows don't take water, you yourself, you know that you're making a loss.
Explain more about that cold water. Someone out there would like to know about it, yes.
Each and every farmer just get to know that you're not supposed to give that cold water. That's why we put the transparent iron sheet.
What effect does it cause to animals?
What does
the effect of cold water to animals?
They don't like it, so they won't take it. Okay. That's why there is a transparent iron sheet up, so that when it shines, it comes direct so that it warms this water a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can explain the feeding area.
Here we made it like this, so that when we are feeding here, these feed don't fall on the ground. And you're supposed to make sure that the feeding trough is very clean. That's why I told you, for us here, we made it a daily routine. Every morning, we wake up and do the cleaning. And to farmers outside there, who may think that maybe me, I'm very busy, I will get like the feeds for the whole day, maybe I fill up to the brim. That is not how things should be done. Actually, you should be putting very small, so that each time they eat and they finish, they go for resting. When they come back, they have to feel that the feeds they are eating, they are new.
Okay.
Yes. These animals, you see, they are like us human beings. It's like now you eating food, you leave it on the plate, and maybe later on you come back and then you eat the leftovers. That is not good.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, after talking about the feeding area, tell us, how best do we take care of these animals?
These animals, first of all, you're supposed to be spraying against the ticks. Like here, we do it twice a day. You spray. You're supposed to give very clean water. You have seen our water here. Of course, you feed, and that is all. Most of the times, the problem comes from the ticks.
Okay, what else is needed for us to take care of these animals very well?
Of course, first of all, we need good management. After feeds, I told you number 1 feeds, number 2 feeds, number 3 feeds. Then after, you need good management. Any person, if you're to keep these animals very well, actually, you see these animals, for them, they don't talk. So it would have been better every morning you take their temperatures. If you take the temperatures, that will help you to know this one is not very good, because just using our eyes, by the time you look at the animal and it is like not feeling well, for it maybe it has not been feeling well for like 2 or 3 days back. So it's better you take the temperatures, you know. When the temperatures are not normal, then you give like the painkillers. From here, from the feeding troughs here, it is where actually you can also determine that the animals are not doing well. You can see now here, they are enjoying the feeds. That means we have given the good feed. This is what we call feed palatability. They are eating these feeds at ease. And so any animal that is not feeling well, here you'll be seeing it, not eating. Okay. Yes.
Yes, before we talk about the animals, the breeds, kind of stuff, so when do you clean inside? When do you have to lay in more?
For our case, we put the sawdust. So when you put the sawdust in their sleeping area, it also now depends on when you're supposed to be cleaning. It depends. You can clean after like 1 month, after like 3 months, depending on the number of the animals occupying the area, and depending on how deep the sawdust you put where it begins from.
How do you tame them so that they don't like defecate in their sleeping area? Because I can see it is clean. How do you tame them so that they can?
These animals also they like cleanliness.
They like sleeping in clean places.
When we are making their feeding area, it's not by chance. We measure. You can see from there up to the extra end.
Yeah.
It is 4 feet. We just make sure that the animal just fits. It is not like very free to turn the way it wants.
Hey.
No. So now since the area is small, just for it to fit there, when it is going there, it goes when the back is this side.
Okay.
Yeah, and it rests.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
There is nothing much that we do. Yeah, we just have to make the space where the cow fits, and that is it.
Yes, I understand this is zero. But do you find time maybe to take them outside the field so they can also exercise and?
Yeah, once in a while, we take them outside and do the exercising.
Okay.
But even if you don't do, for the cows, they can be 100% in zero grazing. The time we spend is maybe standing here eating, going back to rest. It is still doing the exercise.
Okay.
Besides, if you're doing dairy cows, you don't need to, you're not supposed to make them move for like longer distances. The more it moves, the more it even cuts on the quantity of the milk that it was supposed to produce.
Okay.
All you need, you have to make sure that wherever it is, you just make it comfortable, and that is it.
Wow, hope our viewers understood how to take care of these animals, how to take care of the structure, the housing. So now tell us, now we're going to animals. How do you come up with these animals? Where do you get them? Which type? Okay, first tell us, which one are the good breeds for us to rear?
Okay. Farmers outside there, first of all, most of us, we've got different reasons as to why we do farming. Some, they do it for leisure, to know that me, in the weekend, I take my family, we go and enjoy looking at the cows or even goats. Yeah. Others, they have a business sense in mind. Me, I may need to do the fattening. Then another may need to do the dairy farming. So if I'm planning to do the fattening, then I've got to go and look for the breeds that are good for fattening. Yeah. If I'm interested in milk production, then I have to look for the breeds of milk production. Yeah. And most of us, they do know that the good animals, by the way, for milk production are Frisians. That's why you can see most of the numbers here we're having here Frisians. Yes. All these, they are Frisians. Then this is an Asia. An Asia is also a very good cow for milk production. Actually, for which it does go. Yes.
Frisian and what?
Asia.
Yes. So, when you, after laying the structure, bringing our pastures, so do you start, when you're starting, do you start with mature ones or you bring in the calves, the young ones?
Both of them they do. Someone outside there, it all depends, of course. We talked of many things, but we have not talked about someone having the capital. Yeah, so it depends. If I can afford having the mature ones, actually I would advise any farmer planning to start the dairy farming, or even be okay for the dairy farming. I would love that person, or even I myself, to begin with what we call an in-calf heifers. In calf heifers, I mean the pregnant ones. Eh? Yeah. So that as you can see, this is your grazing. You see here is also not simple. You have seen what we have mixed, what is required and everything. All that is money. Yeah. So if I begin with the in-calf ones or the pregnant ones, at least in mind, I'll be feeding, knowing that at least I feed for some months. Then after it has given birth, it also starts taking care of itself.
So our viewers, you've heard, you need to start with in-calf. In most cases when you're focusing on dairy farming. Let's go for a short commercial break. We'll be back to learn more about cattle.